I don't read every day, contrary to what people might think. I don't read into the night. You won't catch me reading 1 a.m., 2 a.m. I don't read in the library. So me coming out at the end of the day and being the overall best graduating student was not just as a result of sitting down and reading my book and passing my exams, but it was also a result of, I think as a student, it's important for you to be as well-rounded as you can be. It's nice to be good on paper and to have the theoretical aspects down, but it's also very important for you to learn how to see my 100 level self now. I will just tell her that, number one, she should calm down, because I don't want to come out of school and be jobless. So the way it happened, we had a whole week of convocation events, and we got to school, let's say on a Sunday. Convocation was the next Sunday. So by Tuesday, we had a graduating class dinner, and that was where I was able to find out that I was actually the best graduating student. So I wasn't able to come to terms with it until long after the convocation. And I was like, oh, wow, I actually did that. For me, going into university, it was a goal that I had. I feel like for some other people that I've spoken to, they've been very surprised. They always ask me, is it something that you planned for? I did try my best to work towards it. Like when I graduated in secondary school, I was the best graduating student there. So I wanted to see if it would be possible to replicate that in university. So getting into university, I was like, I want to try to achieve this. The goal, actually, I wanted to try to maintain a 5.0 like throughout, but it didn't work out, but that's fine. So I wanted to see whether I was going to be able to achieve the goal. And I set a very high bar for myself. And each semester, I tried to make sure that I was pouring in the effort to meet up with that goal and that aspiration that I had set for myself. I was surprised. At the same time, I wasn't like fully surprised, because the thing is, people in our set were already like speculating. They were thinking, is it going to be this person? Is it going to be me? Is it going to be this other person? Is it going to be this other person? So I knew I had a chance, but there was no official confirmation of it until the day when it was announced. And when it was announced, it was a lot of mixed feelings. I mean, I was happy, but at the same time, I could not believe that what I had worked for, what I had worked towards for 4 years had actually become a reality. So it took a while, like I think like weeks after I go home, for me to be able to actually look at all the plaques and the awards and be like, wow, I did that. Even now, when like it comes up or people mention it, it's like me, I'm like a bit surprised. I'm like, oh yeah, that happened. Like I did that. So it's been a very weird thing for me to be able to accept the fact that this has happened. But I'm proud of everything that I did to be able to get there.
And I'm proud of you as well. I want us to now get into your journey now and get into your mind, if you may, let us in. Whenever I
Sure.
ask students, what's your success secrets? What are the things that actually got you the results that you celebrate and that we celebrate with you for? And they always start with, it's God. It's all God. Now, in as much as I know that God has been the key primary elements, giving us the grace to succeed, I want us to have that at the back of our mind. Now, let's talk about you. Okay, let me put it this way. What are 3 things that you did that gave you the results that we celebrate today? Or better still, 3 secrets that no one knows about you that you engaged to command the result? Because we want students to be like you. We want students to think like you. We want students to get the kind of results that you get. We have a lot of students in Babcock and in other universities. And when they hear such a result, they'll be like, God, where no? How shall these things be? How can I get it? So we want to, people that have the results, what did they actually do to get the result that they got? So let's get to you.
Okay, let me start the answer of that question by saying it's not possible to do something the way another person did. It's not possible to fully replicate another person's formula and get the exact same results. It happens sometimes, but it's not the advice that I would give. I think, in academics and in life in general, I think you should, have mentors and have people that you are looking up to and people that you're learning from and people that you're drawing inspiration from. But it should be a blueprint. it should be a guide. It shouldn't, take away from you being able to pour your own personality into your own journey. For me, the way I do things, if you ask, let's say, the 2024 BGS of Babcock, the way that person would have done things was different from the way I did things. The person that'll be BGS in 2026 will probably have done things differently. Focusing on what I did, I would say the first thing that I did was to find my own rhythm. I
Mm.
never really looked at what other people were doing. I never looked at how other people read. I mean, I could listen to someone speak and like, maybe I should try that. But I never copied what another person was doing. It just, I don't think it works, especially when it comes to like academics. We're all very different people. We understand things at a very different pace. We learn at different pace, different interests. Our brains work differently. Our minds work differently. So it's not necessarily possible for you to like do a copy and paste of another person's method of doing something. You can use it as a guide, but I don't think you can copy and paste it. For me personally, when I started in university, I think majority of my 100 level was like an experimental year for me in terms of learning, just getting used to this university, getting used to the environment, the people, the new friends that I had, and being able to figure out my own schedule or how I'll be able to do things that will get me to a good result. When it came to reading, because I know that's the part that people are typically wondering about. When it came to reading and actually studying, I don't think I did it in the most conventional way. I don't read every day, contrary to what people might think. I don't read every day. I don't read into the night. You won't catch me reading 1 a.m., 2 a.m. I don't read in the library. The number of times I went to Babcock University Library, maybe like 3 times, my entire stay, my entire 4 years there. But if I was probably looking at somebody else's journey, I would have said, oh, I need to be in the library every day. I need to read so and so number of hours every day. I need to read this course and this course and this course. I literally just did trial and error. I knew the things that did not work for me. I've never been a library reader. I've never been a scheduled reader. I've never been the type of person that says, I'll read Econ 101 on Monday, then I'll read Econ 131 Tuesdays, then Wednesdays are for math, Thursdays are for, it doesn't work for me. So I literally just read according to my schedule. Maybe that's not what people want to hear, but there was no formula to it. I just read according to my schedule. I would look at what I could do during the times that I was free and then pick up whatever I was in the mood to read and read it. All I made sure that I was doing was that I was maximizing my time. So I tried to make sure I did not have times where I was just sitting idle or doing nothing. I rested, like a lot of rest, particularly as I go higher, especially when I got to 300 level, 400 level. I took my rest very personally. But I tried to make sure that I was doing it in a way that was sustainable for me. I can't read 6, 7 hours at a stretch. It doesn't work for me. So typically I would stay in my room, I'll read like 3 hours, take a break for an hour, go back to it, take a break for an hour, go back to it. I was very much myself. People used to say when they met me, you would never be able to tell that I was a smart person. Cause I wasn't like, I didn't make my academics my entire personality. And I think that's something that people or students need to understand is you can do well without it killing you, if you get what I'm saying. That's not me saying that there were not times when it was difficult, but you can do well while still being yourself. You can have friends, you can attend social events. I didn't attend that many social events in Babcock. It wasn't, just because I had other things to do. I just really wasn't interested. But if I wanted to, I could find a way in my schedule to attend them. You can have friends, you can be a social person, you can spend your time. You just have to know how to prioritize and have balance. I think, that would probably be the best way to answer the question. Prioritize and have balance. You need to know that regardless of anything, your academics will come first. So if you have times when you need to pick between your academics and some other things, like there were competitions and courses and things that I had the opportunity to do, but I knew that because of this goal I was working towards, I had to pick my academic first. There were times when I had opportunities to do things with my friends, but I would have to cancel on them or postpone because I had to focus on a project or an assignment or a test or an exam or something like that. So you need to have your priorities straight. And then you need to have balance. Nobody is a machine, I'm very sure that there are people in that school that read way more than me. Me personally, it just doesn't work. And I was able to realize that from an early stage. So it's really just about knowing what works for you and then applying it accordingly, having balance, your as a being, your mental, physical, social, everything works as one. So, you wouldn't really be able to have a sustainable life in school until you're able to balance all of that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. You are good in public speaking. I want to be like you when I grow up. All right. So
Okay.
I just have a few questions that has been on my mind that I always ask a lot of BGS about life in school and how they see life. I would love to know now, did you actually study for the grades or did you study so that you could learn and grow, or did you mix the both?
Hmm. That was it. That's a good question. I think it was a little bit of both, but then again, I think one feeds into the other. So I'll explain. For me, the first thing is like always, if you can, try to make sure that you study something you genuinely like. If you genuinely like something and you genuinely have passion for it, it's going to show. You're going to want to do well at it. You're going to want to pour your all into it. I remember I always say I was a science student, and at some point I thought I was going to be a medical doctor. But I had no passion for it. It's not a field that's for me. And if I had gone ahead to study medicine, probably, because I knew I was in school, I had to do well, I would have done well. But that extra thing that makes me different from the next person wouldn't have been there because there's no genuine love or genuine passion for it. So if you can, I know not everybody's in that situation, but if you can, try to make sure that you study something that you genuinely like. And I genuinely liked economics. When you genuinely like something, you want to do well at it. And for me as an individual, one of my, would I say, guiding philosophies in life has always been, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it very well. I'd rather like not do it at all than to do it like half and half or substandard. It's not me as a person. I believe in like excellence. That's my guiding philosophy, or one of my guiding philosophies. So I do everything that I do, I pour my all into it. If I'm not going to be able to do that, I just will not do it at all. So I think it's important for you to, study something that you like. And then again, try to make sure that as you grow, you're the type of person that anything that has to do with you or anything that has to be associated with your name, you'll be proud to say that this is something that you did. So when it came to studying economics, I had passion for it and I was excited to learn about it. But then again, at the same time, there's always going to be, you can love something so much, but there'll be aspects of it that you don't like. That's where the discipline comes into play. That's where being and trying to be excellent in everything that you do comes into play. I can't say that it was passion that made me pass all my courses. That would be a very big lie. There were courses I genuinely did not like. I remember I had 3 semesters where I did accounting. I don't like accounting at all. At all. But because I knew I had a goal in mind and I have to make an A in this course, whether I like it or not, I really can find a way to make that A thing comes in. But there were courses that I really loved, like managerial economics. I like that course a lot. I think macroeconomics I liked as well. There were courses along the line that I really liked that, I was excited when I would be reading about it. It was interesting to me. But the discipline factor, the excellence factor is still a major thing. So it's a little bit of both. You need to have that passion to learn. It will give you that
It makes
extra
the both,
drive
yeah.
that you need. Yeah. But even at the times when that drive is not
Exactly.
there, your discipline and your excellence will make up for it.
Exactly, exactly. Just to add to something, my mantra is excellence or nothing. Whatever I'm to do, I make sure that I put in all my best to make sure that I'm diligent and I give him the excellent mindset that it requires. Now, I would love to know,
Mm.
you mentioned about economics, and I am not a fan of going to school for just certificate wise, just to get a certificate and to answer ES and to answer first class and the rest. We have a lot of first class graduates that are not employable today because of a lot of persons measure on the minor and minor on major things, for some making sure that they get classroom kind of knowledge without actually translating those knowledge into word solving problems. Now, I would love to know, you are the best graduating student. I like emphasizing that you are the best graduating student because I want the world to see you as a star that you are, you know, just like they do say. When I watched this, when I first saw you, The first thing that came to my mind is beauty with brains as well. All right. So now,
Thank you.
what problem do you actually believe that you can solve?
What problem do I believe I can solve?
Mm,
Another interesting question. I think I wanted to say something around what you mentioned before about not just gaining the knowledge for the certificates, but trying to make sure that it's something that can be applied. And I think that's
mm,
where it will feed into answering this question that you just asked. So I mentioned in the beginning that I started branching out of just academics. Me branching out
mm.
of just academics wasn't just so that my CV would be good when I came out of school, but it was also because I wanted to actually apply the knowledge that I was gaining. That's where the passion comes into play. So I mentioned I did something with the IMF. In that one, like we spoke about different countries, fictional countries, and you basically be given data that you would analyze, and then you would not be asked to like, okay, what's the meaning of the number? How does that apply to the economy? How can you use that to increase growth and development in the economy? Even other challenges and competitions. Even when I did my internship, I worked in like strategy and I was able to kind of see how data translates into strategic initiatives and creative recommendations and things like that. I think as a student, it's important for you to be as well rounded as you can be. It's nice to be good on paper and to have the theoretical aspects down, but it's also very important for you to learn how to practicalize those things. And I think it was from my third year, I really started thinking, okay, what career do I want to do? Because I don't want to come out of school and be jobless. So I was like, okay, what career do I want? Which area do I want to go into? And through that, I started researching on different things. I started trying out different things. I started doing different interviews, applying for different internships. And that process, me being intentional about it, really allowed me to see what it is that I like. Over time, and I realized, okay, I like things that have to do with like data analysis, and then not just the data analysis, but then being able to now solve a problem by using those numbers. But the thing about me again is, this is why I would always emphasize it's important to know yourself. The thing about me again is I'm someone that has many interests. So I know, okay, I want to use the knowledge I have in economics to solve problems. That's why when you asked me that question, it was really interesting because it's like there are so many problems that could be solved. And I'm the kind of person that wants to try to solve them all. I started looking online to kind of understand what career would suit a person like me. What area do I need to go to be able to do the things that I love to do every day, but also make a positive impact? I think as I was going around this, I now started coming across strategy, management consulting, which is like the area that I'm going into now. And it's basically being able to solve problems, but doing this across different industries and different sectors of the economy. So I don't think I can say, I think if I put my mind to it, I feel like there are problems I can contribute to solving. I don't think there's any problem that I can solve by myself, but I think there are problems that I can contribute to solving. And I think the career path that I'd be going down would give me the opportunity to do this level of problem solving and do it across different industries and different sectors, public, private, and also be able to contribute in a sustainable manner to the economy, both in Nigeria and outside of Nigeria.
Interesting, interesting. Why I asked that question is to see how prepared you are for the job market. Because we have a whole lot of students focused on cramming textbooks, definitions, making sure they understand how to pass their exams, but not really paying attention to life after school and how they can be relevant in this fast-paced world that we are in. And I'm so grateful to God that you defined your path while in school. You didn't just focus on let's get this first class, let's get this certificate. What can I get out of
Yeah.
my life? Because I believe school was meant to make your light shine better, not just to get a certificate, because I believe a certificate is just a reward system at the end of your stay there, receipts that you are being given after your stay. Now I have two questions. In as much as we've
Mhm.
gone beyond our time, I have two questions for you. First question I've been thinking about is if you could go back to your 100 level and meet the Fatima of 100 level, what is one advice you would tell her?
I'm trying to picture myself in 100 level. What would I tell her? What would I tell her? I think, okay, it took me a while to get to where I am today, specifically like mentally. And I think sometimes people underestimate how much of a mental journey the academic life really is. And when I say mental, I don't mean mental like reading and passing. I mean mental like, being strong mentally and being able to handle the different things that you would come across, even outside of academic, social life, and so many other things. I don't know if it would have made a big difference, but if I could see my 100 level self now, I would just tell her that number one, she should calm down because everything is going to be fine. And the second thing that I would tell her is that, like, she should focus more on looking inward as opposed to looking outward. And I think that was something that I realized second year, third year. It wasn't like it was such a bad thing for me or something that negatively impacted me. I mean, my results were still good, but it was until I really started focusing on me, like building me, working on me, knowing my goals, knowing the things I wanted to do for myself, the vision I had for myself, and understanding that I had the power to do those things. Until I had that realization, I think that was when things really changed. Academically, I'd always been doing well, but I don't think I would have been able to sustain it as long if I didn't have this realization like halfway through. So I would tell her like she should focus on herself within, I think, particularly as a young girl, it's important for you to be able to be independent to a certain level. It's important for you to be able to know what you want for yourself in life and know how to go for it and be very unapologetic about it. And it's important for you to understand that nobody's coming to save you. Yeah, the only person, I think we as young people, we sit and we daydream and we have ambitions and we say, and by the time I'm this age, I'll have this house and I'll have this and I'll have this and I'll have this. And, you keep looking at other people that are achieving it and you're just like, one day that will be me, one day that will be me. And I think we tend to forget that in order to get there, there's actual steps that you can take to get yourself to that level. Sometimes people think certain things are impossible, but if you really sit down and you break it down, you realize that there's actually things that are within your power that could get you to that point that you want to be at. So I think even not just my 100 level self, but for anybody that's in university right now, you need to look within yourself and really figure out what it is that you want. You need to be so secure in yourself to a point where even when people are doubting you, you can be your one supporter and you'll be fine. Even when people are not so sure about the dream that you have, you can be your only supporter and you know that you are enough to back yourself up. It's nice to have other people in your corner, but it's not always going to be the situation. And then, you also need to know that nobody's coming to change your life. You're the only person that can do things to change your life. Nobody is going to give you it happens in some cases, but it doesn't happen for everybody. Nobody is coming to give you that mansion or that car or like you have to be the one to work for it. And it is possible for you to get there if you really sit down and break it down and really look at the steps that it will take for you to get there. It's possible.
Wow, wow, wow. That's quite a speech, though. I truly, truly, I saw myself whilst you were communicating. I'm like, Fatima, you really know how to motivate people. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, to wrap it up for this section, I'm curious now. I would love to know. I don't know, but I would love to know how many awards you graduated with. Do you mind telling us how many and listing them all?
How many awards I graduated with? I'm trying to remember. Okay, let me check. I think I have a picture of the awards list or something. Let me check. The thing is, okay, let me look for it. Okay, so I had the President's Award, and that one is the student that had the overall best performance at undergraduate programs in leadership, academics, community, and spiritual services. So I think that's the first one. The second one is the Senior Vice President Prize, which is the graduating students with the overall highest CGPA at undergraduate level. That was like where I got the award for like 4.97. Then there was a School Dean's Prize, which is from the Dean of Social Sciences. So the Dean of Veronica Adeleke School of Social Sciences. There's that one as well. Then there's an academic program prize per department. So there's a prize for me being the best graduating students in the Department of Economics. What else? I think there was another one. There are about two more prizes. They were from donors. So there was one that was for, sorry, let me check that on that for. Okay, so there's one that's for, is it Chief Ebun Omoyele Award. So it's for the best graduating students in the Department of Economics again. That one is a cash award. And then the final one was given by Med Plus Limited. It was given to the best female. They gave it to the male as well, but mine was for the best female student in the Department of Economics. There was a plaque and there was a cash award as well. Yeah, I think those are all the awards. And then my department was really, really,
That's
really good. They gave me an award as
that's
well, special
total
award.
of 6 awards.
Yeah, there was one more from my department. They did an internal award ceremony, so they gave me another award as well and a cash award. So economics, very great department in Babcock University.
You're not happy in your department.
Yeah, they're like the best in Babcock. She had gone to Babcock study economics.
I beg, I beg, I beg. When you mentioned about the presidential award, do you mean the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria?
No, no. You know how I think university there's presidents slash chancellor and there's senior vice president or vice chancellor. So it's like the
Really?
person that's I think I see, yeah, there's a president, then there's a senior vice president who is the VC. I think. I think that's how it works. But it's an internal position.
All right. When you mentioned about president and vice president, I'm like, president of the Federal
No,
Republic of Nigeria. I beg you.
but it's
All
like
right.
the chancellor and the vice chancellor kind of.
Yeah, yeah. I have a better understanding now. Thank you so much
Ah.
for your time. Thank you so much for making
Yeah.
our time to enlighten the Nigerian students with your journey and your words of motivation and encouragement.
Well, we believe you got value from this conversation. Now, what is one thing you learned from this episode? Please let us know in the comment section. Thank you and see you on Monday.